When one of the greatest boxing legends faces off against someone known for creating drama on YouTube, many would call it a disgrace. Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson, a 60-year-old icon, wasn't just an unfair match, it turned into the most controversial event in celebrity boxing. This wasn't just a boxing match, it raised questions about age, respect, ethics, and where the line is drawn between entertainment and exploitation.
At any point did you start to take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you noticed he was tiring out?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a bit. You know, I wanted to give the fans a show, but I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be hurt.
Fans were outraged, and fighters didn't hold back. Conor McGregor, known for his blunt attitude, especially when it comes to trash talk, went off on Jake Paul. McGregor didn't hold back, calling out Paul in his signature style. But this fight wasn't just about boxing, it raised tough questions about the future of the sport. Should matches like this even be allowed? And how did Jake Paul think this would be received? We all share some blame for this, though, by watching and talking about it. We need to stop giving attention to this nonsense, and not tune in until Paul faces someone who's actually fit, healthy, and not old enough to be his grandfather. Anyone in boxing supporting Paul should rethink their involvement. This is just sad. Congrats to the guy who shared the ring with him, but Mike, you really messed up here.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down. Let's run it. Like, I'd be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
The whole situation struck a nerve, shining a light on the ethical concerns surrounding the fight. It forced fans, fighters, and promoters to ask tough questions. Should there be limits on who can step into the ring, and how far are we willing to go for the sake of entertainment? If the fight itself was bad, the final round was even worse. Jake Paul, seeing an opportunity to finish strong, landed punch after punch on Tyson, who was clearly struggling to defend himself. For many fans, watching a 30-year-old fighter go all out against a 60-year-old legend just didn't sit right. It felt wrong. Social media blew up, with memes mocking Paul for picking on a grandfather, and hashtags like #RespectTyson and #ShameOnJake trended for hours. Fans were outraged, calling Paul's aggression unnecessary.
It was an unbelievable display between a 58-year-old legend and a 27-year-old relatively young boxer. And he actually outboxed the boxer. Jake Paul outboxed Mike Tyson like he said he was going to do. Did you not? Like every single round.
No, and yeah, like what do people say? Like I told everyone what I was going to do is to give him a boxing lesson.
But fans were left questioning why the fight was allowed in the first place. Was it meant to honor Tyson's legacy, or was it just a cash grab? Many pointed the finger at the promoters, accusing them of putting profits ahead of safety. One commentator called it exploitation, and it was hard to disagree. Despite the criticism, Jake Paul stood by his performance, insisting he showed Tyson nothing but respect. But for most fans, his actions spoke louder than his words. The final round of the fight became the moment that defined it, and not in a positive way. Instead of proving himself in the ring, Paul became the villain. It's one thing when fans criticize you, but when some of the biggest names in boxing speak up, it carries weight. Gervonta Davis, one of the sport's most respected fighters, didn't hold back. He called out Paul for failing to get a clear victory, even with every advantage on his side. For Davis, the issue wasn't just about the fight, it was about respect. He accused Paul of tarnishing Tyson's legacy and turning one of boxing's greatest icons into a marketing tool. Davis wasn't the only one speaking out. KSI, who has his own history with Paul, called the fight heartbreaking. He said it was painful to watch Tyson struggle, while Paul continued to land punches that felt more about ego than skill. "What a sad watch," he said. "Mike Tyson is twice the age of Jake Paul. It was never going to be close. I can't believe this elderly abuse was even allowed. It's just disgusting."
Towards the end of his career, he was done. But it's just we wanted to relive the moment, and that's just all it is, man. Just grabbing to that moment when Mike was the most feared man in the world. But unfortunately, we weren't going to see that because age is age at the end of the day. But with Jake Paul, I'm never watching this guy fight again unless he fights an actual boxer that's actually not retired. You understand? Like, I mean, this is by far the worst. I'm happy for Mike in the sense everyone's saying he's getting paid 20 M's for this fight. Never really took too much damage for it. I mean, one more L on his record won't change anything. where people rank Tyson in the history of boxing, they will hold him there in that same position. So this fight does not diminish Mike Tyson whatsoever, because we all know he's 60 years old, man. But yeah, man, embarrassing, absolutely shocking. Netflix, but big up to the ladies. Serrano Taylor fight, that was the main event. That was entertaining. That was two ladies who wanted to knock each other out.
The backlash against the fight gained momentum, shining a light on a bigger issue: how these kinds of matches affect the integrity of the sport. When legends like Tyson are reduced to mere props in someone else's narrative, what does that say about boxing? Conor McGregor and Jake Paul have been trading insults for years, teasing a potential fight. But after the Tyson match, McGregor's disdain for Paul reached a whole new level. He called Paul a wannabe fighter and said the Tyson fight proved Paul didn't belong in the ring. For McGregor, fighting Paul isn't just about boxing, it's about defending the honor of the sport. For Paul, it's a chance to prove he's more than just a celebrity boxer. If the fight happens, the stakes will be huge, and the hype will be off the charts. But no matter what, one thing is clear: McGregor isn't backing down. He sees Paul as a threat, not just to him but to boxing itself. If McGregor gets his way, he might be the one to put an end to it. As the fight ended and news broke that Tyson was taken to the hospital, the conversation shifted. Fans who had spent the night criticizing Paul turned their focus to Tyson, flooding social media with messages of support. "We love you, Mike," one post read, capturing the feelings of many. Tyson's hospital visit, though precautionary, was a stark reminder of the risks involved in these kinds of fights. At 60, Tyson's body isn't what it used to be, and the toll of facing someone like Paul was evident. The fact that Tyson needed medical attention showed that this fight should never have happened. Despite everything, Tyson remained gracious. He thanked fans for their support and assured them he was okay. His resilience only deepened the respect people have for him. "Mike Tyson is a warrior," one fan tweeted, "but he shouldn't have to prove it like this." The outpouring of love for Tyson wasn't just about his health, it was about his legacy. Fans didn't want this fight to be what defined him. To them, Tyson will always be the unstoppable force who ruled the ring, not the man who was dragged into a fight he never should have had.
You're telling me I've stayed up until 5 a.m. Not only get flashed by Mike Tyson's cheeks, not something I wanted to see tonight, but on top of that, Netflix kept crashing for everyone. The amount of times I had to restart this live stream because there was that many people waiting to watch this fight. You'd have thought Netflix have had so much time to prepare themselves for this, but stuff like this wouldn't have happened. Then it gets even worse because he lost. Mike Tyson lost. That's not what I wanted to happen. No one wanted that to happen. Apart from maybe like little kids that are like little Jake Paul fanboys. Jake Paul just beat up a pensioner, is what it comes down to. This man is like a year or two from getting like a free bus.
The real drama wasn't in the ring, it was unfolding online. Jake Paul quickly became the center of attention, but not in the way he hoped. Social media exploded with a mix of memes, rants, and harsh criticism, and most of it painted Paul as the villain. Fans were furious over how the fight played out, especially the final round, where Paul relentlessly attacked a clearly struggling Tyson. Many called out Paul for his lack of sportsmanship, with tweets like, "Beating a 60-year-old legend isn't a flex," capturing the general frustration. Even those who tuned in more for the spectacle than the sport couldn't ignore Paul's aggressive tactic. Despite the backlash, Paul leaned into the controversy. He posted highlights from the fight on Instagram with captions like, "Respect to the GOAT Mike Tyson," and "Another win in the books." But these attempts at damage control only seemed to make things worse. For many, his posts felt empty, more about promoting himself than showing real respect for Tyson or the sport. In the end, while the fight made Paul one of the most talked about figures in boxing, it came at a cost. The attention he craved quickly turned into a flood of negativity, leaving fans to question if the fame was really worth the damage to his reputation. The Tyson-Paul fight wasn't just a spectacle, it became a moral dilemma. Watching a 60-year-old man fight a much younger, stronger opponent raised serious ethical concerns about boxing and the boundaries of sports entertainment. For many, this fight felt like it had gone too far. Tyson's age and physical condition made him vulnerable, and it was clear in the ring. His movements were slower, his punches less accurate, and his ability to defend himself diminished. Although the fight was technically an exhibition, the intensity of Jake Paul's attacks blurred that line. Should fights like this even be allowed? And who takes responsibility if something goes wrong? Then there's the issue of respect. Tyson isn't just another fighter, he's a legend, a man who shaped the sport. Putting him in a position where his legacy could be damaged felt to many like a betrayal of everything he's accomplished. Fans argued that the fight wasn't about honoring Tyson, it was about exploiting his name for profit. Promoters also came under fire, with critics accusing them of prioritizing spectacle over safety, using Tyson's legacy as a marketing tool instead of treating him as a true competitor. The lack of clear regulations for exhibition matches only added to the controversy, with many calling for stricter rules to prevent future mismatches like this. Ultimately, the ethical concerns raised by this fight go beyond Tyson and Paul. They question the very nature of celebrity boxing and its place in the sport. Is it worth risking a fighter's health and legacy just for entertainment? For many, the answer is no. The fallout from the Tyson-Paul fight wasn't just about the fighters, it was about boxing itself. Once a sport defined by skill, discipline, and respect, boxing is now facing an identity crisis. The rise of celebrity matches, while profitable, is shifting the focus from talent to spectacle, and the Tyson-Paul bout became a prime example of this troubling trend.
6 in the morning, and I've had to wait all night in the UK to watch that. Shame on me. But most importantly, shame on Netflix. You have absolutely robbed us tonight. Yeah. We couldn't even watch the damn stream because it was buffering. Yeah. That's number one. Yeah. And the fact, yeah, we watched that. We are the losers tonight. All of us are the losers to watch an innocent 58-year-old man, a legend, an icon of the boxing world, get absolutely, I wouldn't say embarrassed, but I felt uneasy watching that tonight.
What do you make of Jake's performance tonight?
Absolutely stupendous.
What did you think of Mike Tyson?
I love Uncle Mike. He's just such a, I mean, like, that was impressive, no?
Yeah.
For a 58-year-old. Hi, how are you? That was, yeah, he's like tough, proud of him. Weathered the storm with a young brute named Jake Paul. I think Jake let him live. I do. He wants to fight you, bro.
Yeah, he wants to fight you next. What about that?
I think he wants money. I don't think he wants to fight me.
Would you take the fight?
No.
Why? Gotta say.